I'm so excited. You're Art Sherpa. Forgot my own intro. It's that kind of a day. On the mic is my husband, John. So I teach art to beginners step by step, and I'm excited about tonight because tonight's going to be a much more beginner focused lesson. So if you're really new to painting, or if you're painting with multiple ages, or there's some reason where you want it to be fun for artists with more experience but still accessible for artists that are new, oh my gosh, this heart tree is going to be it. Now I'm going to make a couple really important little tweaks to this so that you get an even more gorgeous painting. We're not gonna actually do Q-tips, and we're not gonna do sponges, which I know many of you thought I would do. And you could do this with Q-tips or sponges. And I'm gonna just show you an easy way to do this with a brush. This is something you can paint on a lot of things, shoes, jackets, decor, any of that. You can have all ages paint with it. So how this is gonna work is I'm gonna paint a thing, you're gonna paint a thing, I'm gonna paint a thing, you're gonna paint a thing. At the end, we're both gonna kind of have a heart tree, and they're gonna kind of look like each other. But remember, you are not a Xerox machine, so yours will not look exactly like mine, nor should it, because you're a person. You're an individual. So your brush strokes will be a little bit different. And I just want you to know ahead of time, especially if this is your first time painting along online in this type of situation, that that's completely okay. Now, we will have steps. We will have chapters. Later, we will have a mini book that you can download for free if you would like that extra help. The colors are going to be fun and simple today. First, we have an 8x8 surface. You could paint on a different size surface. This particular image will resize well, and I'm going to show you how that is actually true, and you could do that even as a really, really, really new painter. On my canvas, especially in light of today, I have two wishes. The first is peace between men. We've really, really got to get better at hearing each other and acknowledging each other and recognizing each other. And that means all the way around, like all the way around. We should do better at that. Love and light for Perth, who's going through a lot right now. I know there's lockdowns again, and it's just getting super intense. So if you're an area that has escalated its COVID awareness, we are just wishing light and love for you and that you are okay. Our paint colors today are Mars Black, Titanium White, Phthalo Green, Phthalo Blue, Cad Red Medium, Cad Yellow, and Quinacridone Magenta. You might have thought I would have put some brown out, but I'm going to show you a really cool thing you can do for the trunk of your tree. And that's the materials. How are you guys feeling?
Pretty good.
Did we get the text out?
Yes.
Excellent. We were kind of like a little bit, it was crazy. It's kind of a crazy day in a weird way. A lot of good things. Some of which, man, you've got to be here Thursday for the Thursday show. Bookmark it, be here. The giveaway is going to be insane. The art education is going to be spectacular. You are going to love every minute of it. And we might even have discount coupons for things to help save you money. So it's going to be an all-around thing, looking at abstract acrylic paint, the student version of this brand that I use here, and it's the only student brand that I really use on my show. Let's talk about the heart tree, shall we?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I'm going to get a round brush, and we're going to do something kind of simple and easy. We're going to make a very, 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 very light blue. Right? And the first image is I'm going to change my little landscape. Like, the reference picture is okay. They did an okay job photoshopping it. It was an idea that I liked, but it was also an idea I thought could be better. So about 3 fingers up from the right, taking a little bit of light blue on a round number 8 brush, I'm going to just sort of give myself a little line that starts higher and ends lower. Can you guys see like the little hillscape? It's not extreme. It's just something so that we have that. So there's a little hillscape. The little hillscape. So if you were doing a different size canvas, you would just make this a little bit higher, and then as you came down the other side, you make it lower. You could do this on a wall. This would be a really easy mural to do. You would just use bigger brushes. Now I'm going to get a little bit of white and a little bit of my Quinacridone Magenta, also quite light. Right? I know I'm going to want to have, oh gosh, at least 3 fingers for a trunk, right? Because I've got to have something that the tree is on. And I'm going to show you my little trick for freehanding a heart. When this is all done, I will totally give you a traceable. It will be in with the step-by-steps. It will be in with the chapters. But I just want you to know how you can do this. Now, I'm also going to make a little mark 3 fingers from the top, and that makes sure that my heart tree doesn't get so big that it stops being a heart. My little trick about doing hearts is I'm going to make a straight line down. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's nice if it's a straight line. And then what I do is I do a little arc up. I'm going to come around and go back in. That's going to make half a heart. And then I come and do the same thing on this other side. Right? And this is going to give me just a sense of the scope of my tree. Right? And that's why I wanted the paint to be a little bit light so that if I want to paint over the line with sky and I kind of go back and forth with those two, I'm not really going to be struggling. Now, weirdly, I'm going to have John take a picture of this because you can't really do the next part unless you have this step down.
No, that was something we forgot to do.
Oh, you forgot your step one?
We forgot to put up step one.
Okay.
Tree. Because we rolled right into this.
We did roll right into it, but now you know where you're at on
this
that
was all
one.
step one. So,
yeah.
But now, this would not be step one anymore, would it?
I think that you got to get a picture and we should show them on the next part, step two. I just want you guys to have this anchored in so that the rest of it goes easy. Hi, Christina Lanes. Welcome to Emoji Club. Darcy says, if I didn't have these to watch, I would go crazy. If I didn't have these to teach, I might join you. It's been wild in my life. Good things though. Getting ready for Thursday's event it's gotten more exciting and more exciting and more exciting. And I really hope you guys can come. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to explain the complete abstract acrylic line, and I'm going to give away so many prizes. And an art expert from Abstract Acrylic, a materials expert, is going to come and answer questions directly in the chat and help you guys find stuff. And we're going to source you sales and materials. It's going to be amazing. Coolest new thing I've done in a while. Okay, so for my next brush, I want something a little bit bigger.
Now, may I ask, are we moving on to step two?
Step two.
This would be
step two. So in step two, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint in our very nice little sky. It's a very nice light aqua turquoise sky, kind of an even color, so it's not going to really stress us too much to do. I'm going to take my number 8 cat's tongue. You could use around a filbert. You could use a different size. It really isn't the brush in this particular case. You just want something that you have nice control over in your space. I'm going to mix my green and blue together. And oh gosh, just a lot of my white into that. Just a lot. It's kind of fun to do just to make sure that it's very, very light. And I'm going to come up from the bottom and I'm going to just brush back and forth. Maybe get a little more white in there. See, I'm just brushing back and forth. Where my paint is wet, the new colors will blend into the paint I've already put down. So if it's drying on me, I might lose some of my blending and that could make it harder. Notice that I'm pulling the white out and I'm coming over to my aqua to mix it. You can see it's pretty simple. Why do I keep reaching for the far water? That's silly. That's silly planning. I'm having a silly day. Silly day. Some of it's not silly. Some of it is silly. So depends on stuff. All right. I am going to come over my tree just a little bit over that line. Do you see how I'm going over the line a little bit?
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Sylvia.
I've not seen that sticker before. That's a cool sticker.
Is that a new sticker?
It's got Sherpa hair.
Oh, thank you. It's so good to see you, Sylvia, today. And thank you so much for the support over on Facebook. I really appreciate it. I always love when people are sweet and come in. And
it's a lovely tree.
Are lovely. Lovely. So,
what's that noise?
I don't know.
Something is dingling.
I know.
It's your thing.
But I don't know why.
You know what it is? It's your mom.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure. She's calling you to say.
It could be, or it's one of Luna's friends.
Children.
My daughter lost her phone privileges today, and she's like, hey, so her friends may call a lot. If it interrupts the show, I apologize. Do you have kids in homeschool? I do.
Unexpected social
interactions. We'll get some. Because no matter how much I say Mommy's iPad is for work, it's not for work, is it?
Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You know what's interesting? Finding yourself in unexpected conversations with parents you've not met on your phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it when my kids are like, they're like you. They need to know everything. I'm like, that's just called parents. I don't know what y'all think we're doing all day. We're watching you. I'm brushing back and forth. You can see it's just a regular motion. The result you want to get is the paint is blended in to itself, but it's not completely like a perfectly smooth, even. You know, there's a little bit, if you notice, there's a little bit of energy and streakiness to this, right? And that helps it feel like the sky. I'm going to get even a little bit lighter. And here at the bottom, I might come over my blue line just a titch. I can still see it if you'll notice. It's because this color is a little bit transparent. It still shows through, sort of like the pink. And what's wonderful about that is then I haven't lost the shape of my hell or the shape of my heart. I know where it still is. And I can put it back in really easily. But I want my leaves to be like a little leafy, like this is like our featured artist, Pearl's Topiaries. It's not that good. It's not that good. If you got my newsletter or you checked out the blog, you have to check out my featured artist this month. I discovered about him in a documentary called A Man Named Pearl. If you haven't seen it, you must see it. He just makes me look at my yard and go, I'm not motivated. But I love his stuff, and I think he's so amazing. And so if you get a chance to check it out, definitely do. But that's why this heart tree actually ended up on this month, because I knew I was going to feature Pearl. And his work. I'm sure he doesn't know who I am because he's a super famous, important national treasure artist. So, you know, he's doing important national treasure stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like you do when you've changed the world of art. Okay. So this is the end of step 2. We just took phthalo green, phthalo blue, and titanium white, and we painted in our sky in a brushy back and forward motion. I used my cat's tongue brush, but you could use another brush. Hi. All right. Oh, moderator Phthalo Blue is sharing the blog. And, oh, that's so goodness. And then a lot of people coming over from my mom's show. She shouted us out, which was so nice. I love that and appreciate that. It was a birthday week, so, of course, just completely failed at being a daughter
Oh,
this
let's
week.
see here. So now I think we're on step 3.
Are we? Yeah, we are on step 3. Step 3. Step 3.
What are we
Now,
going to do in step 3?
We're going to start painting in the tree. One thing I want to make sure is I don't want my tree to go purple. Did we get the hairdryer hooked up?
Probably not, but I'll work on that while you're working this.
Okay. Can't really work till we have a hairdryer. So the reason I'm not immediately painting in is because when you mix the reds and quinacridones and colors into here and they get into this blue, if the blue is wet at all, it will pick up into those red paints. Thank you, darling. You're amazing. And by the way, he's amazing. Like what he just did there was like he like did like some Robin flip, and was able to acquire the hairdryer.
Well, that's because of the... It's a studio where you should be able to do that kind of stuff. Now, here's the trick. I don't gotta blow a breaker. So, anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Man, there's a really nice group of folks here tonight in chat, hanging out. I love seeing you guys. You make my day. It's wonderful to see y'all. Other than that, don't use heat. You kind of know that. Doesn't help anything. Makes paint sticky. Can cause color shift. Just air dry your surface. Make sure you thoroughly dry between layers. That way you don't, your paint doesn't get sticky and peel up or delaminate, cause any of the funky issues. Just thoroughly dry.
So I see that we have a question about the answers to the word jumble. And it depends on which word jumble. You can find newsletters which have the news. So the first newsletter has the word jumble and the second newsletter has the answers. So you can find it there. But if you just did the one we just sent out, maybe we should put up the answers on another location so that you can find it. Sometimes I forget how smart and clever and amazing you guys are and that you're going to finish stuff like right away. And everybody, I want you to give a bunch of love to our word jumble coordinator, Norman the Gnome, who is my sweet friend Tartan Taz, creates YouTuber.
We'll make sure that we, or I'll talk to the team. What we might do is include the solutions to last month's or last word jumble in this word jumble. So you'll have this word jumble down below it. You'll have the solution.
Yeah, I'm
for the last
not
one.
sure that. I think we just have to have a
We gotta
place on
find
the
a solution.
website
We
because
gotta find a
the
place.
newsletter is very neat and tidy.
Oh yeah, we do have a website location.
Do we? Well, but
We
they're
have
not up
all
there.
Oh, well, they'll make sure we
All
put them
right.
there.
So let's take. I've got my Cad Red here in my Quinacridone, and one of my very favorite color mixes is my Cad Red and my Quinacridone. So I'm mixing those together, and I think in this particular case, I'll go just a little more Quinacridone, and I'm going to come here to my tree, Kitty Gel, and I'm going to just tap out little touches. Now you could do this with a round brush, right? And you
Mhm.
can do this with a bright. You're just wanting to pull little bits in to kind of give that tree texture. We could have done Q-tips. I know we could have. But I thought I'd just show you how, hey, it can be easy with a brush too. Right? It can be easy with a brush too. It's a good idea when you're doing this to make small marks and bigger marks. All right, so see how I'm touching the toe of the brush and making small marks?
I do.
Small marks and bigger marks. Just filling up the outside edge of this and the interior with this color. And then we're going to do the same thing on the hill. That's how chill it is. This is a very chill painting today.
Very chill.
Oh, so Piano and Art, I'm very sorry for your loss. And I am so glad that you can come here and be with people and that it is in any way helpful. I really am. That's a lot. Very sorry.
I really, it's really nice to have all this, all of this, these folks, this community. I don't even know how to. It's like how to put a name to all the lovely people that.
There really is. And you guys, I just want to say to you, as you go out into the world, right, and you see our community members, and, we're all kind of struggling to get through our day. I'm going to say something very important. When we talk to each other out in the world, remember to be gentle with your words and be gentle with your voice. And even when something is super important to convey, it's a lot easier to change a heart than change a mind.
Yeah.
And it's important to do. And that doesn't mean don't speak your truth or do what's right or any of those things. I'm just saying that when, you're trying to speak to your art friends out in the world, we have to remember, and I think this is so important. And today, this was my takeaway, which is remember that groups and dynamics are not monoliths, right? Artists are not a monolith. Groups of artists are not a monolith. We don't all see everything the same way. No group or community is a monolith. We are made up of individual organisms, peoples, and, takes everyone to make the tapestry that is us. And so we can get a little lost in that. And if we want to say something or we want to have discourse, I would love to encourage you to practice a discourse that's informative and truthful, but also compassionate. You know how my day went.
It's I long for the days of meeting someone in the paint aisle and having a happenstance discussion over who bent the tube.
Oh, yes. Don't you miss those conversations? Who bent the tube?
And then
Who
no one
bent
wants
the
to buy the
tube?
bent tube. They all want the perfect tube. And so you go back and forth, and that bent tube is there, the last tube of titanium white on the shelf, bent, but you're waiting for the new ones to be stocked, but they won't stock them until someone buys the bent one.
Judith says this painting is a symbol for who I am. It could be, actually. I try to be here. It's hard. Right? We have to choose it. Well, not Mr. Rogers. I think he was just born that way. I think he was like Lady Gaga. He was just born that way. I really honestly do not feel, I think like his wife chose it after watching the documentary. Like she chose not to be sassy guy, but I think he was just like really connected to the energy and spirit of love and compassion and acceptance and understanding. And he was really good at changing hearts. He's really good at changing hearts. Your heart won't ever fool you. Your mind will trick you. Well, actually, that's not true. Any of our words can fool us. Those of us who maybe dated someone we shouldn't have are going, no, I feel like my heart fooled me. So, yeah, I just finished. I'm just still doing this. I'm just coming inward, as you can see. Bigger strokes as I pull back.
Now you're
Same mix of Quinacridone Magenta and Cadmium Red.
from the outside in.
From the outside in. And I like to go from the outside in because it allows me to kind of piece out these little bits, right? And that's what helps this look more tree-like. Okay?
Is that a step?
No.
Oh, okay.
Then I want to do the hill too in the step. Since it's the exact same color and it's the exact same technique practically, I feel like let's do a similar thing. Does that make sense?
It is.
So I'm going to come here and I'm going to, again, just sort of, because this is supposed to be like this carpet of leaves that fell from these heart trees. Very, very Dr. Seuss.
So there's a great question.
Oh, please ask me the great question.
I'm going to scroll back up to it. Jennifer asks,
Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing tonight?
what are we doing for April?
Oh, my goodness. So for April, every day, we're going to do a little painting.
Hey.
Every day. Each day, the skill's going to build to let us get ready for the skill the next day. And we're going to do that for 30 days. Around the middle of it, we're going to freak out and decide we made terrible life choices that brought us there. But we're going to proceed on all the way through. And at the end, have a huge breakthrough. The calendar is entirely done. And we're now in the creation and planning and all of that. It is going to be available to the general public probably right around the 1st of March. If you want to see it early, I've been showing that sneak peeks to Emoji Club, some of the early paintings, and also the patrons got to see the full calendar early, and they're going to see actually the process this year. We're going to share the process of how we build this amazing free 30-day life-transforming art program. Yeah, I'm not overselling that either.
Thank you for asking that wonderful set of
questions.
questions.
This is the number 8 cat's tongue. If you guys want to know the difference in the size, this is the number 4. So you can see they're kind of significantly different.
Yeah.
If that's helpful. So again, Thursday. Okay, also, please don't unsubscribe from until you get the next email blast from me. Do not unsubscribe. Because if things go as they're supposed to, and all the amazing men and women of the art world are able to get stuff together, you're going to have such an opportunity to save money and be introduced to resources and partners in your art experience that you're not going to believe. I'm so excited.
It is our first experiment.
It is our first experiment, and we're going to be sending out a blast like right before on Thursday. We're going to be working so hard on this. And if you've been wondering about abstract acrylic paint, because look, I get it. It's tough to try something out because if you don't like it, what are you supposed to do with it? Which is why I'm doing this, is to explain how I came to like it, how long I've used it, why I know it's good. And I'm going to be really candid with you guys. I like the dudes over at Salvo Fair. I like Pierre and Andrew. They're my friends.
Can I?
So biased there. Biased.
May I?
Mm-hmm.
So guys, totally, this was like, we're not being paid for this. We just like them. And we invited them to come over here. And they said, yeah, we would totally do a Q&A. And then in the process, we were like, well, do any of your stores like want to have a shout out? Because we would totally shout them out. And then they were like, well, yeah, let's see if we can get some coupons. So like, this was a totally organic experiment with you guys. Yeah,
it really is. And we're not being remunerated. And that's an important thing. Like, we'll go over it again for the FTC in the back of the room, but we're not. And here's what.
We hope to be, but we're not yet.
You can count on me to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Right? Because in art, if your art instructor won't tell you the truth, what are you supposed to do? Right?
No.
Somebody's got to tell you, hey, this is a good material, or like, don't do it, right? It's important, especially when you're new, because Your first steps when you start painting, I'm continuing to do this brush stroke and fill this all in, and that'll be the end of step 3. The first steps when you start painting are the most important, because if you start out with good habits and you start out with some really awesome fundamental understanding of art process, everything that comes after is easier. I cannot tell you how many people have painted with me a while or done an acrylic April, and then we're able to do some really top level retreat or art event where people came from traditional art education and they were able to keep up, understand all the terms, actually knew more than some of the people, and were able to get a wonderful experience, even though they came in from self-education. So it's really important to me to do this stuff. I'm just continuing that same mix of Cad Red medium and Quinacridone Magenta in my wonderful brush strokes. I feel like even the texture of the stroke, even though we're going to layer things and build up, I feel like even the texture actually adds to the painting.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a lot of...
Shannon Oren, if I can join Patreon, I can find out about April now. Since I'm in Hawaii, I'm very limited on where to get supplies. It takes a month for Amazon, only one store to shop.
Ooh,
so the supplies, guys, are the same as they always are. I keep those the same for year to year because I know of that. Because I know you may be in what we call today an art material desert.
Yes.
You may be in an art material desert, so it might be hard to get art materials. So the colors, the 11 colors, they're posted up. They're in Acrylic April. They were the same ones that I did from 2020, same size canvas. The only thing that changes is the images and some of the extracurricular resources that you might have. But the base core is, so if you want to invest, you can invest in those things now.
Invest. I've been watching too much of the stock market, so my investment brain is broken.
Oh, yeah. That was really weird. What is going on in the world? Has gone crazy. Okay, let's put up a step 4 and take a picture.
We're going to for it?
We're going to for it.
All right. We can
take a picture. And I heard a grandson gave me the thumbs up. I hear a little brush gave me the thumbs up. Where did that go? That was really cool. My grandson said, "How beautiful," said Darcy. And Barbara is saying hi to everybody. It's so good to see Barbara and Teresa and Jennifer Sweeney. She's saying it's hard to find anything in Washington State. Yeah. So we were talking about that with the guys at South Fire, going, there's areas where, they imagine that you guys have a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby. And I'm like, heck, a lot of people don't even have an art department in their Walmart. And it's very challenging to get art supplies. So connecting retailers up to people is super important so they can get stuff easily and at a good value.
Much less like Raheel, who's on the other side of the planet.
Right, Raheel? Other side of the planet.
So to avoid those problems, we try to give you guys the list of materials well in advance so that you can try to get them no matter who you get your supplies from. We just currently are getting our supplies with here.
Judith is saying, don't change the person that she is and that she's painting to be part of a practice of her mental well-being. And I have to tell you, me too. I actually paint to help maintain my mental well-being.
Yes.
And my mental health. And it's really important. And that is a good thing to be doing. We all got to take care of our mental health. Insides, outsides, all the sides. All right. We're going to do another layer because, it's my show. We haven't painted with me unless we painted in layers. Onions and ogres and layers, right? Lindsay says the lion I painted this weekend is my second lion. Congrats on your second lion, Lindsay. Now, as I go forward, I want to get into a more red. So I'm going to go into my bright Cad Red, maybe a little Queen, but mostly my bright Cad Red. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to come here. And I'm just going to go around. And I'm going to put a lot of leaves there. You can see I'm doing the same tap. Sometimes it's a big touch. Sometimes it's little. I'm on my number 8 cat's tongue. I'm just using my Cad Red. The combination of these two just kind of gives me a more burgundy color to play from. There's a lot of ways to deepen your red. This is just one of my favorite ways. And it's going to let me go into my yellows really easily. Shannon, John, did you guys get my box? So we have got to reach out to our PO box.
Yeah, so we have. I was just taking care of some moderation in channel. So yeah, we have got a PO box where everything gets remailed to us. So sometimes it takes a little longer to get from one place to another, and I will follow up on that.
Yeah, and everything like this, things got a little crazy for a while. Not on our end for once. It wasn't us for once. So we'll have to. We will check on that. And listen, if you've ever sent us something and you want to know like the status of it, please write support@TheArtSherpa.com. Why do I always say that? Is it because I didn't want to talk to you in Messenger, or I'm trying to keep you away from me? No, it's because the only thing I have that tracks what I've answered and what I haven't answered. Because I have to tell you, Facebook doesn't care if I know. It also puts some messages in some weird Siberia box if you're not connected to me by friends or some other thing and I can't see it. It's like I find it every once in a while. And there's a lot of important messages in there. And then I'm like, oh no. Because there's just, So my email is my favorite email. I don't want to take out all of my red underneath, but I am covering a lot. But you can see that there's some dimensionality here, right? And we're going to keep building that dimensionality. Building. We've got like a layer after that. And we'll really play with the float away leaves. The float away leaves are my son Spider's favorite leaves, who is coming Wednesday night on Facebook to paint the Pac-Man Frog Cottagecore watercolor. He ended up. I'm really excited about that. That was a request from my son because his birthday is coming up. And he had wanted a Pac-Man frog for a pet. He's getting shrimp. But maybe a Pac-Man frog down the world. But if you have a Pac-Man frog, you have to create habitats and really specific environments. And then also you have to be able to raise their food, which for the parents who already know is bugs in a box. So we had animal rescue that needed bugs in a box once. And then the bugs in a box got tipped over and we were looking for crickets for weeks. For weeks. It wasn't cute. It wasn't like Mulan. I did not love it. And they were everywhere. So, freshwater shrimp.
Yep.
And Mommy did a painting of a Pac-Man frog, which is technically emotional acknowledgement, I feel. That's what I feel I did. So now as I get to the center, you can kind of see that I'm a little careful
about starting to get super bright
around. And yeah, it's much brighter. Isn't it luminous? And that little bit of dark color helps it be that. Ashley just came back from the post office with her master's in wet palette, and she's so excited, and she used the Sherpa link, and I'm so glad. I hope you love it. I gave it to my mom for her birthday. I did. I also went by and I gave her some love on her show and everything. It's hard when you're both working all the time and you're far away, but you want to try to touch base and send love. I think it's important. I think it's very, very important. There we go. You can see I'm not doing grass, which is interesting, right?
It is.
It's different than what we usually do, but it's kind of fun, right?
It's grassy.
Grass-ish. It's just a hill full of these also. Leaves also or something. This is like the Were Tree in Game of Thrones, but with less misery.
This is the happier version of that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I have been just like, okay, so here's my new obsession while we paint a bunch of these touch pulls. See how we're just touch pulling?
Yep.
Just a touch and a pull, guys. So you're okay. If you just came in now, that's all we're doing is a touch pull stroke. It's a very simple starting stroke that you can learn. So I watch a bunch of strange shows. Like I watch a show called American Gods, and I watch, what was the other one I was like doing all the, Raised by Wolves. I had to look up a bunch of stuff on because I was like trying to like understand what was going on.
Everything that they've released to the Western audience from Korea.
Okay, everything, but I don't need this for that. So I've been having to go on YouTube and then watching the spoiler shows after episodes to figure out what's going on. Oh, WandaVision. So WandaVision is like my obsession. And now my new obsession is watching all the YouTube channels that do post-show Easter egg spoilers and speculate on theories. And I have to say something, John, I have to say it from my heart. I love my, like, the fan community and the nerd community. Like, somebody who was like, do you remember this episode of Captain Marvel where we saw this and it was an allusion to this and it's gonna be this? And I'm like, no, I don't remember all that, but now I know. And I feel like I'm so in it and I like all the theories. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I feel like
John sleeps through a lot of it. He doesn't really always know that that's what I'm up to. But I've been watching WandaVision and American Gods and all those things. Because I have to tell you, I was so confused about who Mr. World was for a really long time. I'm like, who is that? And every once in a while, I just like to go and check it out because especially if it's adapted from a literary work, because oftentimes the video creators change things so much. Also, we're doing touches of paint, touches of paint, touches of paint.
I feel like if someone went back, if I had like instant replay, you could go back 30 seconds and say, what happens when you ask the Art Sherpa about TV? And you would just see her head explode.
Thank you, Renee Meyer. Really appreciate that. Thank you. And Patty, thank you. Still have the Green Acres theme stuck in my head. Oh, that's so funny.
Well,
Don Hahn says, I'm reading her mind.
So you're on the same page.
Yeah, you got to check it out. There's so many good ones, right? Like, I didn't even know that was a whole vertical of YouTube of shows that explain my shows. Because let's be honest, Raised by Wolves, that was very involved. Like, it's a watch 2 times kind of thing. And American Gods, you got to, like, I'm going to kind of go back and kind of re-watch. And so sometimes a show has a lot of Easter eggs and I maybe didn't catch every single comic. Like I like Wanda and Vision, right? Scarlet Witch and Vision, sure. But I didn't like really every Marvel comic side storyline of it. And since they're pulling from everything, I can't know all the things. But these guys somehow know all the things.
Are you implying Vision is a side character?
No, he's a whole bunch of
just...
Disney Plus is awesome, and I like HBO Max, and I don't care who knows it. I admit it. Everyone puts down HBO Max. I don't get it. I enjoy it very much. We're going to have to do step 5.
All right. Look, it's your show.
So welcome, everybody who's coming in now and who likes art and also TV. Look, you've got to like... So here, we like art, we like TV, we like comics, we like books, we like music. We kind of are, about it. All those things. And I am really about it. But I am obsessed with WandaVision. Like, obsessed. It's a thing for me. No. Now, you don't laugh. Guess what we got to do next? Another layer!
Do another layer though?
Yeah, because we're going to take a little bit of our CAD.
Do you have to dry it first?
No.
No? Okay.
We don't have to dry this because we're going into a heart. So you may not know this, but this is a color harmony because these are all shades of red or colors that would be next to each other on a color wheel. I can really paint wet on wet and I won't get any unexpected color mixes. Darcy's right. We also are super fond of food. Food
That's
is
true.
No joke around here. So I'm going to continue to load up my brush. And I'm going to start adding some of these lighter leaves. This is going to help really... I'm not trying to turn the tree orange, mind you. I'm creating some dimensionality. Just another layer on the red. These leaves are further placed out, not oranges, just little leaves. They're a little bit, can you see the kind of texture of them is further placed out?
I can see.
Look, there is a kind of like quick and over it way to do this, but I paint with my daughter and I can tell you like she could like totally rock this out. She would be like, I got it.
I like that our youngest will, after a show, sometimes come in here and get the traceable and the paint and go into the other room and watch the video and paint it. She's just like, no, don't help me. I'm going to do this on my own, but I want to do the video. And she would do it live, except that she stops. She's like, I have a question. And so
it would stop the show. So you can see how he did the same stroke, same pull, but just a little bit more open, isn't it?
Yep.
And it just creates that last little layer of dimensionality right there. I really want to make something just beautiful and peaceful and something that, yeah, it's simple and it's beginner friendly, but it's still a very love it on my wall piece. You know, even if you're new to painting, you want to love your piece on your wall. You want to look up there and feel like, woo, I did that. That's how we feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I enjoy the Disney princess movies, so I can just rewatch the songs again and again, says Dawn. And Andrea says, we have a good sense of humor. I think sometimes we do. We get funny at night. We watch TV together and catch our like comedy shows and stuff like that. We watch a lot of our stuff from YouTube now. We just like literally have our little playlist and we go through and we have our things that we watch. And then we
Netflixing.
And we Netflix. We definitely Netflix. And I now HBO Max because I like this new movie release thing. I'm going to be real honest, like, and I want every movie theater to stay in business. I never want an American business to go out of business or any business anywhere in the world to go out of business. But I do kind of like being home.
You know what?
To watch a movie.
You would make a good, like you should be like a TV spokesperson. Like,
I could have a whole, I don't know that I could have an Easter egg show because I don't feel like I feel like I could have a show that just said, this is how you should feel about watching the show. And these are the reasons why you would stop what you were doing and watch it. But I don't think I could explain to you, like, though I had a lot of the same theories. Like if you watched Raised by Wolves, like I had some theories about the androids and the holes and all of that. I won't do spoilers. That was like the first scene, so I'm not ruining it for you. But yeah, I'm into it. Guess what we're going to do? Same thing on the bottom.
You're going to actually paint?
No.
You are painting. You're just not talking about painting. You're not telling us how the same brushstroke has been repeated a
1,000
million times on this, so you have something to talk about while you're...
So here, I'll tell you something about this brushstroke and it being repeated a million times.
How about something... Are you going to paint the edges? Because you got a bunch of like
no, you can paint the edges of your canvas if you'd like. I just like to frame my canvases unless they're deep stretchers, and then I paint the edges.
Okay.
But you can paint the edge if you wanted to, and that would not be wrong. You know, that would not be wrong. Oh, Sylvia's like, how do you ask for advice that you don't want to be public? Well, guess what? That is totally okay. Not every art question we have do we want to be public and up to the public. So you would just write support at TheArtSherpa.com. And now here's what, guys, I get to as many as I can. I never just like ignore a question or not respond to somebody, even in like a very active thread like today where a lot of people had a lot to say and often tagged me in, and I wanted to respond to every single one, but I'm never just like blowing you off. Even if I don't agree, I won't just blow you off. Oh, you know, it may take me a minute to figure out a calm answer, but or an answer that's like relevant or respectful or any of those things, because that's how I want to be. But I'm not just blowing you off. That is not what is happening. Isn't this it's just a glowing.
Yeah.
It just glows. This is the glowing tree. It's different than the giving tree, which is a sad story. That's another thing I watched, is what is the secret meaning behind the giving tree?
Huh.
Because you know that's like a deep story, right? Like super deep. Super deep.
What is the secret meaning behind the Sherpa's love tree?
The secret meaning behind the Sherpa's love tree is that
Is it in step 6?
it's going to be in step 6.
All right.
Now I get to hair dry too.
All right.
I'm going to hair dry and then we'll do.
Okay. Let's see. There's the button. Okay, so we're on step 6. You can find a link in the description down below to our website where you can find more resources and stuff about this. Sometimes Cinnamon does interesting things like turn these into other resources that we use later, and I'll let her tell you about that while I take a picture.
Okay, well, BJ Gardner also asks, are the strokes shorter near the center of the tree? Actually, they're a little bit longer, and they radial out in kind of a circle. So they're kind of like a cowlick in your tree, and then they're tinier and smaller on these outer edges to represent the leaves. Same here on the edge, but gets a little bigger into the hill. Huh? Oh, the step-by-step book. So how this is working is that we take the step-by-steps and we get the mini books written up. It's taking different amounts of time depending on everybody's availability. And so as soon as they're up, I release it in a newsletter. I put it into the groups. It was 7 to 10 days. I think we're kind of like now about 12 to 14 just because we're catching up, but I think like 3 of them are about to drop at once.
Yeah.
And then also you probably will see these as like a book, like a real book from us after. But the mini chapters that you can just download those from each page. And I will come back even to videos as we do them and make sure that they're in the link, and they're also in the video page link. So I try to make those accessible, and they are free. You just print them out and then you have them, and they are great. And if you're doing something with a group of people who are really new to painting, those step-by-step pictures, besides the step-by-step printout, which goes up pretty quick, they really help you anchor yourself into what the painting is and how it's constructed. There's a lot of extra information, and sometimes seeing it in the written word can be like a layer of how you learn what you've got to do in your skills. I was like, boom, boom, having some stuff there. Mentioned to my son that Cinnamon, you don't know why Boba Fett had different outfit. Got to listen to an explanation for the half hour. Oh, I'm so sorry. Lily has a Star Wars question of her son. I'm sorry. Star Wars questions can get deep, right? Like you don't even know. Like you come in and you think you're asking like a super innocent question, Star Wars question, and then you realize, oh no, this is some deep stuff.
I think you may have thrown my steppage.
I did? How?
Because I think I'm not sure if I skipped a step.
Okay, well, find out from the mods and then we'll put it up.
That's okay.
No, I don't want to be on the wrong step, and so if we need to fix it, let's fix it.
Before
I progress.
Let me see.
Before I progress, because it's really tough to chapter mark differently than the steps. It'll throw people terribly.
If that is I think that we skipped step 5.
Okay. All right, guys, what step are we technically actually on? If we skipped a step.
Well, and we are. Let's see here. I'm waiting. The unfortunate thing is we have a 30-second delay.
We do have a 30-second delay. If you're ever wondering why do we not know the step or see the responses or any of that, is because there is a 30-second delay on YouTube. Because YouTube wants to give us a chance to shut you guys down if it goes crazy. I think that's what it is. I can't make it shorter than 30 seconds. There's a delay. And that does, like, if something weird happens on my end or on your end, we can, like, shut down the stream. That has never happened for us, but knock on wood. Do we have an answer?
So they say step 6. Oh, there you go.
So we weren't wrong. Okay. That feels right to me.
That feels right to you?
It feels right to me.
Okay.
All right.
We'll go with that and try our best.
Yeah, that's a lot of competent people I say also saying step 6. So sometimes I trust you guys more than myself, like in a weird way. All right. So if you've watched any of my shorter videos, my little like quick lessons that kind of go over core skills, we had a whole video on how to make brown. And one of the ways to make brown was red and black, which is why we didn't have brown on this particular painting lesson. So on this level, we're going to begin the trunk. I'm going to come here from the tree. I'm going to make a very fine line. And I think I'm going to bend this over a bit because I feel like trunks should always have a little personality. They should never just be straight. I'm going to continue to thicken this out at the base. Trees tend to have a thickest base, and as it goes up, it gets thinner and thinner, and more diminishing branches are thinner than the trunk that they're attached to. pretend. There's some weird trees that have to make all of us look foolish and do a different thing. I'm going to pull this down. This is pretty dark. This is Mars Black and Cad Red to make a very dark brown. I'm kind of pulling a little long line out there for a little root.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another little long line here to imply a little root. It's kind of like a weird little forky tongue. It's a little bit strange, but when we add the next grass blades, it won't seem as awkward or strange. And this is a really great trunk to do. So I'm going to come up just a little bit. As I go up, can you see that my line is very fine?
Yeah.
So my line is fine because I'm not pressing down hard on my brush. This is a number 4 round. It is a good brush. It is a very good brush. Wouldn't have put my name on it unless it was. It is not the only good brush in the world. And what I want to say is just try to find brushes that are quality and hold shape and have good spring. Now I've got this little bend here that I very much like that I've exaggerated. I'm going to give another little branch out. And you can see what I did is I wandered away from the trunk. And as I go out on the stroke, I lighten my pressure and it's what lightens the line. And I'm going to apply another little branch right there. That's kind of branchy. Let's come up here. These are just a few little branches that could be in this tree. And we don't need to get much more involved than that. Very simplistic. All right. Now, if I add more of my red into my black, I get a lighter brown, don't I? So I could come here just a little bit on the trunk and make a bit of a like more brown highlight, but it's very synergistic to the rest of the tree. I don't want to really do too much on my trunk. You could get your yellow and make your kind of yellow ochre color, or just use yellow ochre. That's also okay. And get a little white into that. So that was my yellow into my red and black mix with a little bit of white. And again, remember guys, if you had yellow ochre, which is kind of a convenience color, you could use that. I'm going to make little dashes, just a few, not a lot. It's just a little bit of a painting minute. Just to talk a bit, see how small they are?
Mm-hmm.
About like maybe some bark of the tree. Little personality. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Little thought over here.
Now,
Little
Michelle
bit.
was asking, how do you frame these? Is this something you could buy at Michael's at a
You
certain size?
can. You can. And there are clip-in framing kits, which means you don't have to use nails or any power framing tools. It's just a little clip, and the clip is spring-loaded and holds your picture frame against the frame. I should make a video about that. Holds your picture frame against the frame, and then it's really easy to wire. It's like a whole thing, so it's like framing, non-framing.
And they have a bazillion D coupons all the time.
So many coupons, and you can also find these sizes out in the world because they're standard sizes, like 8x8 is pretty common, so you could find a frame at a resale shop that was a very expensive molding that was 8x8, and you could totally pop this canvas in. We should make a video about that. Guess what? That's the step of that step. That's it step.
That was step 7? Or now we're on to step 7. That was
now
step
we're
6.
on step 7. That was step 6. We painted in the trunk.
Now I'm with Jane. She's like, we need to paint some more weird plants, like maybe Audrey.
I get it.
That's a Valentine's.
All right. I see something. Rahil wants to know why I'm not wearing a necklace today. I do have a never-ending collection. But today was weird for me, Rahil, and I did not get a necklace on. We're lucky I got lipstick on. Yeah. You almost got a no makeup day. This close. And honestly, this is my COVID haircut, which means I did it myself because I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, I can't see out of my bangs, and my hair is just, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch a video and cut my own hair. I feel like it came out like not wholly crazy.
No, that's not bad.
And I remember as I was cutting it, I was like, this could be one of those things that's a humorous moment, but not a good look moment. Where it's like come in with like a chunk and it's like, what happened to you? I cut my own hair, but it actually came out okay. So I'm all right with it.
I like it.
Yeah. What brand of varnish would I suggest? So Rembrandt makes a very good brand of varnish. Golden makes a very good brand of varnish. I used for a long time Liquitex's gloss medium in varnish where I just brushed it on. Though there may be a formulation thing there, I've got to look into that. There's one other one that I'm trying to remember. It's in a spray can. It's super common. I have it like somewhere here in the house. I have a video all about varnish that the mods can drop where I talk about that. John has to do my spray varnish. I prefer spray varnish. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to kind of make this not be a strange foot. And we also need to kind of create some interesting little moments in the painting. So let's take a little bit of our yellow and red. And I've got my number 4 round here. And let's add some grasses over our little trees, see? Right. Just a little bit, just to say, oh, hey, this tree, it is in the hill. See, now it's in the hill. Yeah, that's lovely. And I'm going to get a little of this red. I'm going to try to make kind of a light leaf a little bit over here. Oh. Not too many. I think it's just fun to add some texture and to it. You can even get into the pink, just some. I don't like that as much. When you're going, you're like, I don't like it as much. Just a little bit of a lighter leaf. That's just my cad red and white. I kind of like that. Just some. Right? Just some. And then I'm going to get into my red here. And I'm going to touch the tip of my brush, and I'm going to make a little fall.
Tree wind.
Of leaves.
Oh, yeah.
They can curve back, right? I want to just get this on the tip of my brush. And you'll notice kind of they fall different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Just off the canvas, because that's fun. It's fun to me. Just make them fall and blow away. And that also helps put into perspective why we have this red down here at the bottom. And there we go. It's just a fun little painting that's very graphic. I'm making little touches up. You can do that at this stage where you take like some cad red and, maybe design out focal spaces. Also, use off some of your paint. It's always good too. And then remember, I've got my Stay Wet palette, so this will be good for a minute, so I can do another painting in there. Yeah, just this nice, beautiful, wonderful piece. I'm honestly just kind of messing around because I don't want to leave you guys yet, but you could.
That's okay.
You could technically be done right now.
If you felt so compelled, you have such infinite platforms. You could go live on another platform and continue to digest your thoughts.
I'm afraid of the other platform right now.
But all the better reason to slay the dragons.
No.
Just saying.
But you can see I'm just creating some of that dimensionality on that part of the tree that has like action coming off. And even in this very simplified dark trunk, right? I might grab some white into my red so that these grasses, see how they're kind of having some color so we can see them separate from the grass that's around them. That can be a little bit hard sometimes when you have very unified spaces like this field.
Like red on red on red?
Like red on red on red. So it's nice sometimes to take it and you can take these simple designs and do really interesting things. I'm just touching that and I'm making a little spot right here and I've got a little spot right here. Creating a sense of, interesting drama. I get some yellow in there. Look at us go around the tree. But again, it's that I don't want to go. But it's nice.
I like it.
That little bit of fun. All right. Let's see what's going on in the chat. And
We have a lot
Mary
going
says it turned out pretty. I appreciate that, Mary. I really hope your guys' turned out pretty. Every once in a while, I like to do a lighter project like this. I know on Tuesdays, sometimes we get deep into the three hoots, but sometimes it's nice to just kind of look at how a simple brush stroke or a simple set of color mixes can create something that's really fun and graphic and beautiful, but not really overwhelming in its task layer, if that makes sense. Right? And sometimes we need that. We need like a breath of fresh air. Now, of course, at the end of a painting, you got to sign it, right? You don't have to. That's actually not required, but you could.
Now, I wanted to say, I saw some comments in here. Everybody, I wanted to say so big art hugs, big thank yous for all the suggestions you guys make. Know that even when we when you make a great suggestion, sometimes we just can't get to them.
Oh, so what I do with suggestions is I really keep track of them. And when I see them come up and up and up and up again, even if I have to plan it months out, it goes into my head. It goes into the calendar. Coming up on April, sometimes we're a little bit loaded. And as you know, I schedule out a little bit. And it's weird. It's kind of like trying to be a courtesy to some of my friends and fellow creators so they know what I'm doing so they can plan their calendar and we're not like right on top of each other with the exact same thing.
Not bumping up on each other.
Yeah, because that can happen and it's always weird. It's like wearing the same dress to a party. Not bad, not wrong, just weird and a little awkward. So if you can, so I courteously try to do that. Also, because I'm getting ready for Acrylic April, I'm signing in turquoise because I think that will be pretty. Just so you know what is happening over here. So I keep track of it and I've got little notebooks and everything. And when I see it come up again, it tends to get there. And you guys have amazing ideas. I give you permission if I'm not getting to an idea quick enough to go tell my mom you'd like to paint it. Well, because she doesn't really plan. Like, she just paints whatever she's feeling. No, I don't mean that in a mean way, but she does this sort of paint, which she was like, I know for a fact. I'm sorry. It's true, though.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, she's openly said that on her own show.
She is unfettered by a calendar.
She's I plan like months ahead, and my mom's like, what do you think I should paint this Monday? And I'm like, this Monday? What do you mean this Monday? That's how I like came up with the challenge. I'm like, you have nothing? I'm like, I had something from the last 2 years. I haven't been able to get on my calendar one time, and it would be perfect for you. I challenge you. And she's like, okay, I'll do it because I have nothing to think of. And she did it. It was a gorgeous painting. But yeah, so she's a little more open and flexible in her plannings, and she does these art auctions. So she paints like a bunch of paintings in a day and then sells them. So sometimes she'll take stuff for that. So you never know. So if I'm not getting to it quickly enough, it's totally okay to go there and be like, hey, Ginger.
Oh, that's not the step I was looking for.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
looking
all done.
for this. That's the button I was looking for. Because Raheel was like, how come the Sherpa is so small? I'm
Lucy,
like, bigger Sherpa.
I feel like I've done some realistic foxes. I feel like I have, especially from last Acrylic April. I felt like that fox was realistic, even though it was like kind of cute and snowed up and everything. And I've had some other foxes. Amy says, I can't see your mom doing a Disney painting. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Amy. Talk her into it because I promise you it will take some weird detour that none of us see coming. None of us see coming. My mom has a weird thing, especially when she gets into painting certain types of things where a very strange element of her imagination manifests. That's what I mean. Where we're like, oh, what's going on there? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, but it needed police tape, don't you think? And little shoes. I'm like, well, that kind of changes the feeling in the garden, doesn't it? So she definitely will do some more of those things. And I tend to be a little more like, I don't know, I've always been kind of more fan art and more of that broad graphic, illustrative, realistic space. I think I tend to like that's why I love doing daily paintings. Sometimes I need to loosen up. I need to like relax into my painting and be a little more brushy, loosey-goosey. Okay. So Thursday, it's a giveaway. You don't want to miss it. The giveaway is huge. The grand prize is valued at $200.
Okay, in seriousness.
It's 20 colors of paint. And then you said if it doesn't come to $200, they'll throw in some extra like liners. And then each of the 10 other prizes are a $50 paint value. A full size, not samples, guys, real paint. And there's 3 of them that we're going to make sure are international. And the grand prize and the 7 other prizes are the U.S. and Canada. And it's from the Abstract line. They've got inks, they've got matte paints, they've got soft body paints, they have heavy body paints. It is an amazing, full, complete line. There's sculptural tips, so you can get like that gaffery, cool sculpting, frosting and canvas thing. I mean, I'm gonna tell you all about the line and why I like it and why I think it's a really good. If you're looking to kind of get into your first studio paint, but you're not ready to like get into golden or Sennelier or Holbein or something like that, it's a really great onboarding paint, in my opinion, and I'll tell you all the reasons why I think so. And so we'll have materials experts there in chat asking your questions. Like, these are the paint experts. We're going to have hopefully so many coupons, and I'm going to be demoing for like a while. So Thursday, and then also Watercolor Wednesday, Pac-Man Frog, Cottagecore. For those of you that know what a Pac-Man frog in the cottagecore style is. Ask my mom to do cottagecore. I wonder how that will confuse her. I haven't explained it to her yet. I love how I explain things to my mom, and then I see it on her show, and she's like, she's like, it's all about this thing, cottagecore, that I heard from somewhere. I'm like, me! What's really special is when we have a conversation and she comes back around and she's like, did you hear about this new art material? I'm like, yes, last Tuesday when I told you.
What time Thursday, Patricia says?
What time Thursday, Patricia? I love my mother, by the way. It's just her birthday, so she's on my mind. What time Thursday, Patricia? It is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it'll go, given the number of prizes we have and the amount of product I want to demo and explain and put into context for you guys, and also I think at least an hour and a half on the show. And the contest is open now. You can enter now.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You can enter now.
You can enter now.
Dun, dun,
You
dun.
can enter now.
Make it easy on everybody.
I'm asking you questions, but I really want you to understand something. Your personal information is not going to go elsewhere. I will. There's a section that's optional where you can say something to the paint company. That doesn't go with your personal information.
Yeah,
or
we
your
don't.
email.
None of the personal information is going on here. Just the questions and things that you'll add. There's a little questionnaire.
And I send it over so they don't have that. But if you win, they're going to email you. So that is important that you put in an email we can reach you by.
And you optionally fill in the questionnaire.
Yeah,
so it's like
it's
not
option.
like this is all just for you to participate, and this is cool.
Well, because you might have something. It's a rare thing that you actually get to talk to the people that make the paint and distribute the paint. So I just wanted to give you that chance because I get that chance and it makes me feel really good inside.
Where do we enter? In the links in the description down below, I hope.
Do we have an entry link from one of the moderators?
I don't. Well, I'm sure we will in moments.
It's Kim's like, wait, it's not on the sheet.
Oh, don't.
Okay, so the video is scheduled, and where is it? Where's the contest? Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds. If you guys will wait with me, I'm going to get the contest link because that is my bad. My bad.
I have all these other links.
I usually do these links for my whole team, and it was like a day, and I was answering some like deep questions, important human questions.
You didn't want to go anywhere anyway.
What are you talking about?
So, like, you wanted to hang out and chat
I didn't want to go anywhere anyway.
And do stuff. So, I mean, like, this is just a reason for us to be here.
Wait, no, it wants to, like, select everything. And I'm like, no, don't just take me there.
Your time.
Just let me copy it.
You can take a moment.
Okay. How can I?
You can send it to Skype to someone, and then we'll extract the data.
Okay. I'm going to send. Nope, that's a Facebook send. I don't need to send it on Facebook.
So. Has anyone...
Copy link! I have solved it.
Did you?
Yes, I did. You guys want to enter. This is worth entering. It's worth hanging out for. It's so worth hanging out for.
Okay, where is it? Where'd you put it? I'm
putting it in right now. It's going in right now. Okay, so I'm staying here because I want to make sure the link takes you to the form.
Okay.
Can someone click the link and make sure it takes you to the form?
It's a Google
form. It's a Google form. I don't get any of the information that Google has on your account, by the way. Only the email and your name that we do for entries. And we have countries so we know if it's an international winner because we want to make sure we have 3 international winners.
Okay, that looks like it brought me to a form.
Did it bring you to a form?
It did. There's a whole form here.
Is there a whole form?
There's a picture of you.
And there's a picture of me as Lego?
Okay, so you did it.
All right, good. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be
Stay
bananas.
to the end. There's always excitement.
There's always extra, and there's the link, and that way you have it. And if you're
yet
doing
again-
watercolor, huh?
Yet again, you find that we finished this painting in
A while
20
ago.
to 30 minutes, and you're here now an hour in going, what am I doing? Still watching this.
I guess I could have made this 30 minutes and been all competitive with the other fast painter.
No,
Oh well.
no, you can't.
It's who we are, right? You gotta be authentic. You gotta be yourself. You've got to be yourself.
You're a talker.
I'm a talker. I've gotten that note before.
Have you?
Yeah, since like grade school, it was literally pinned to my chest. Talk too much.
You know,
This is how I feel every time someone's like, "You talk too much on your videos." I'm like, I remember walking home from kindergarten with the "talks too much" note pinned to my chest. So it's not like if I've not fixed it by now, I'm ever gonna fix it. It's a done deal.
And it's interesting because she's a talker, and when she gets into a corporate meeting, it's like there's permission for everyone to be a talker because she's a talker, and they don't have an opportunity to unplug. So all of a sudden, you just have this, like you're in the middle of an important meeting, and you find yourself talking about like this Netflix movie.
It's important stuff. I mean, like, what else are we doing but being alive on the planet with each other, trying to understand each other? There's nothing else to do here but be here and take care of each other and understand each other. There's literally, unless somebody's got a spaceship besides Elon Musk, and it's not really going anywhere, is it?
If you were ever, like, this is one of those things, though, if you ever meet Cinnamon
SpaceX, whatever,
and you're tongue-tied, just say Netflix, and
I'll go.
She'll just start talking,
I'll
and
carry the
everything will be
conversation.
good.
Don't even worry.
Just create the conversation.
I will. I'll create a topic. Discuss. So is there a password? No. So my mom does passwords or secret words, and you have to be there for the live. And I don't know, you gotta have 300 likes for them to go live. They have a lot of stuff, and that is very cool and awesome, and I support that. But I'm a very different jam over here. So in my contest, this is my thing. We do a random number generator, pick winners, and we really make it random, and you don't have to buy anything or do anything to win. There are some restrictions that are like legal restrictions. And you just enter, and we're going to announce the winners during the show. And the contest will be open in the show for a lot of the show. We'll close it down during the show. Like when we get the last grand prize winner, then we'll shut it down. And you don't have to be there. I guess that's not good business, but I feel like, with time changes and people's schedules and
We'll
stuff.
work it all out.
If you win, I don't want you, I'm a contest enterer, so I don't want you to have to not be able to enter. And oh, by the way, if you're here on the replay going, oh my gosh, this contest isn't here, guess what? If you're here years later in the Wayback Machine, seeing this moment, wishing you were part of this contest, check my page because there's always one going on. There might be another one, and all these things would sort of still apply. Probably an art material giveaway. Sometimes it's an art giveaway, but most of it's art material giveaway. So these are always going on. So even if this isn't relevant to you in the time machine of YouTube, it is relevant in what I do on my channel. So, but
Amy's trying to keep conversation going. She's like, okay, a parkway is neither a park nor a way. Discuss.
Parkway is neither a park nor a way.
She's like, I'm going to pull topics to keep you here.
So Pierre has this friend, Luke. You got to say it with the French things, Luke. And he's a TikToker, and he's not an artist, but he's a TikToker. And he does this thing where he talks about English and French, and basically about how English is an insane language and how words can be spelled exactly the same way, but said differently, or said exactly the same way, but spelled differently. And none of them mean or refer to the same thing, and why English might be a hard language to learn.
I don't.
It's the best. As for Parkway, I have no idea why they call any of that stuff any of that. I feel like whoever's naming roads is just spinning in a chair going, what do you think? Court Lane, Court Lane, Court Lane, Court Lane Street, Avenue Road, and it's like all the same name. And I just imagine the postal person trying to figure out where this mail goes.
Okay, you're making cognitive leaps that you're having to backwardsly explain now. So I'm going to say
Time to go.
It's time to pull this one in and say goodnight.
I'm just afraid of going back to the Facebook post.
No, I'm going to go on Facebook. We're going to talk about this some more.
Hey guys, seriously, I cannot tell you this enough, and hopefully it's not true when you watch this years from now, but right now, if you're watching this live, This is an intense time. And it is easy to feel overwhelmed. It is easy to feel intense. It is easy to feel, I don't want to use the word triggered, but honestly triggered or misassess stuff, or really, really take a deep breath. Right? Remember, we are all in this rowboat together, like together. And there's just room for all of it. So be good to yourselves. Right? And be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon.